What's going on, everybody? Today I want to talk about, talk about two things. First of all, little kids playing baseball. I think that kid just hit a home run, hell yeah. But I want to talk about buying new bikes versus buying used bikes. And especially bikes with high mileage, I guess. So, I've always heard that anything over like, I think it's like 15 to 20,000 is really bad to buy on a bike. I've had 4 bikes in total now. I've had, well, 5 bikes I guess. I've had 2 Katanas 600s. I had a Katana 1100, and I've had a ZX6, which is my first actual sport bike, I guess. And then I've got the Gixxer. And something I kind of want to talk about it is, every single one of the bikes that I've had at least over 25,000 miles on them. Every one of them. I started on the one of the Katanas, the 600 Katana. It was a 2000. I think it had like 29,000. I had a 2001 Katana, which it had, I think, 39,000. Then I had an 1100 Katana, which had, I think it had a little over 67,000, which is very high. Then I had the ZX6R, which had a little over, I think it was over 27,000, somewhere in that range. And then I have this bike now, which is at almost 51,000 miles. Whenever I got it, I think it was at like 50,100 or something. Like, I put about 800 miles on it in the last, give or take, like 2 months. But giving that said, not every bike is going to run as perfect as it could. What kind of bike is that? But given that being said, not every bike is going to run perfect, and the bikes that I have, I assume, have not been taken care of. Do y'all wave to moped riders? I do, because, I mean, 2 wheels is 2 wheels, but just curious. But my curiosity is what are your all's thoughts on bikes with higher mileage as compared to lower mileage? Like, I understand that most of the bikes that I've had, I've beat the hell out of. Like, my ZX6R, I pretty much burnt the clutch out of it. It was bad off. The 2 Katanas, I rode like hell. You know, this one, I ride a little harder than, maybe a little softer because I'm not fully used to it. But, heard sirens. I don't know where the hell they were at. But, that may have been in my music. But yeah, I'm just curious. What's your all's thoughts on bikes with high mileage? Because, for me personally, the bikes that I have had, or do have, hi old people. But I think my worst running bike was one that was like the lower mileage. Like, I think it was the Katana with like 29,000. And I mean, it really wasn't running bad. It was just not as good as the other ones. Like this one, it runs great. It's got a weird beep that I'm pretty sure is coming from the ECU. I'm not positive. I can't be positive. But, because this is my actual first bike that is fuel injected. So, you know. But I don't know if I've just maybe gotten really lucky. Maybe gotten really lucky with all of my purchases, or if it's just, I don't know. Hi. But I don't know if it's just I've gotten really lucky with the fact that every bike I've gotten has been either well taken care of or decently taken care of. But like, it makes me wonder because hey, could you open that a little bit? There you go. But like, it makes me wonder, like, people who buy low mileage or bikes, like buy bikes that are over, you know, so many miles. They're like, no, I can't touch that bike, it's got too much on it. You know, I can't buy it, it's got too much on it. I mean, me personally, I've had the experience of the high mileage bikes, and like, I think they run pretty decently. I mean, I've rode bikes that's had, you know, 15, 20 miles on them, you know, from dealerships, like test riding them, stuff like that, obviously break in. But I've also rode bikes that's had, you know, 10,000 to 11,000, and they run about the same as what this one does. But it just makes me wonder, like, a lot of people just kind of don't know what they're looking for. Slipped her too late. But a lot of people just kind of don't really know what to look at, I guess, whenever they buy them. And I guess that's why they're like, oh, high mileage is bad, you know, whatever. And I mean, don't get me wrong, don't go buy a bike with fucking 180,000 miles on it. It's probably gonna blow up. Or that's just Lord, guys, I am getting sick, I think. But I mean, that may not be the best idea, or the best interest anyways. I mean, it may not be a bad idea. I mean, you could probably do it if you could find it. I've never seen a bike with that many miles, to be truthful with you. But like everybody I've talked to, even on this bike, they're like, oh my god, it's got 50k miles, that's so bad. And I'm like, it still runs, I mean, pretty solid. Like, I've had it up to speed, I've ran it, I've done some stuff on it, and I mean, everything seems to be good. I mean, it could use, like I've said before, like brakes, like my brakes squishy. I mean, it probably needs bled, or it may need a master cylinder. I mean, the bike's 20 years old, 21 years old. So, I mean, it would make sense for it to need a master cylinder or something. And for that to be it, I mean, the only reason it's purple is because I painted it. But I mean, this bike in particular, even, it's been dropped before, and it's still, I mean, it's not in perfect condition. There's a few things it needs, but nothing major. I mean, y'all see, I still ride it all the time. It's not like it's a death trap waiting to happen. But other than this bike, my other bikes, I've held for well over a year. But I've held them for well over a year and had them for that long. So like, it kind of, for me, it kind of makes sense. Why would I want to spend the extra, especially for a first bike, spend the extra money on a bike that's, you know, $10,000 or $15,000? It may not have as many miles on it, but I mean, like, I seen a 2000, I think it was a 2008 ZX6R before I got this one. I was gonna buy it, and they were one, I think I had like 12,000 miles on it. They were one like, I think it was like 6,500 or something. And after that, I talked to them, you know, whatever, started to get it. And like this bike, for instance, I bought it for $2,500. And I don't know, I just see people all the time, especially on like YouTube and stuff like that, where they always have these big nice bikes, you know, the brand new bikes, stuff like that. And like, don't get me wrong, if I could go out and buy, you know, a 2026 fucking S1K, yeah, I probably would. I'm not gonna lie to you. But is that I'm not gonna ride the 05 GSX? No, I love this bike. It's a great bike. And honestly, I may not ride it as much because, you know, if I have a new bike, why not ride the new bike? But like, I love this bike. It runs, it rides, it's great. I mean, I didn't pay a lot for it, and I got a bike. And that's just something that I kind of want to express as a person. Like, whenever I first got into bikes, I used to think that it was going to be so expensive and all this. And don't get me wrong, some things are, like buying gear, for instance. Gear is very expensive. I mean, helmets are, you know, $500 to $1,000, which you can buy cheaper ones. I mean, you don't have to go spend $500 on a helmet. You don't. And you kind of get what you pay for with helmets. I mean, as long as they're ECE certified, stuff like that, you're usually okay. But like, just for instance, like this bike, or like my helmet, I bought this one. It's a Ruroc helmet, which everybody has their opinions on Ruroc helmets. You know, they're give or take whatever they actually want to be. So that's up to you on your opinion of it. But yeah, I mean, I used to think that I had to go spend so much money. Straighten my fairings. I used to think I had to go spend so much money to get a bike and to get gear and to get all this. Whenever I first started, I think I paid $1,500 for the bike that I had, the first Katana. It needed its carb adjusted and cleaned and all that stuff, which mechanically I wasn't very inclined, but I did figure it out and put towards it. I spent $1,500. It ran pretty decent, after I got the carbs adjusted and all that, and it was good. So after that, I think, and we're back. So I don't remember exactly where we was or what we were talking about, but we're here now. Where's my music at? Okay, that'll do. But back to where we was. Don't pull out. But back to where we was about the whole buying a bike with high miles, you know, all that fun stuff. So kind of just where I was. In my personal opinion, I kind of thought that forever buying a bike was overly expensive. I did. I thought like I was gonna have to have $5,000 or $6,000 just to be able to buy the bike. Then, you know, a lot into gear and stuff like that. It's really not all that bad in terms of getting the bike. Like my first bike, like I said previously, I paid $1,500 for. I put a little bit of work into it, learned a little bit, moved out to where I was. I have bought bikes. Every other bike I bought has been below $2,500. I paid $25 for this one. I paid $600 for one, but I had to completely rebuild the carbs and everything and do a whole bunch of stuff to that one. But paid $600 for that one. I think I sold it for $32 and then paid, okay, I apologize, I paid $28 for the Katana 1100. But then after that, this bike I paid $2,500 for. And so far, the only thing I can figure out that's actually really wrong with this bike is the fact that it has this weird beep, which I still don't know what that is for. But I still don't know what that's entirely for. But I don't know, we'll figure it out. I've looked into it and it doesn't really say too much about that like extended beep, but it's got to be to something. I want to say the guy had a tracking system on it and it's probably wired in somewhere, and I just haven't been able to find it. See, none of them wave. But yeah, I mean, I thought for a long time that you had to spend a whole bunch of money to get into riding, like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And where I come from, that's, I mean, that's, to me, that's quite a bit of money. I don't have money to go just blow, you know, 20 grand on a bike. And I run a business, my own business, so I don't have the ability to get loans right now. So it makes it quite difficult to go finance a brand new 2025, you know, GSXR, ZX6R, something like that, that I enjoy riding. Don't pull out. But from what I came from, I spent, like I said, I spent $2,500 on this bike. A little bit of work, if you know, one of the biggest things is learning the bike, really. Learn a little bit about it. And I mean, bikes aren't hard to work on. Like, motor work sucks, don't get me wrong. I hate motor work. But whenever it comes to just like, you know, the majority of stuff, it's not too bad. I mean, it's all just right there. It's tedious and cramped, but it's not hard to work on. But yeah, I don't want everybody out here thinking like, oh, I gotta have 5-10 grand to be able to buy and get into a bike. Like I said, take $2,500, go on Facebook. You can find them on Facebook all day long for $25, $26. Like, I was talking to people on Facebook and they were wanting like 35. You offer them 25 cash. A lot of people will be like, yeah, I'll take it. You know, I was talking people down $3,000 or $4,000 at a time, and it wasn't really all that bad. Which this one, I don't even think I talked the guy down at all. He wanted 25 and I was like, I'll be there, because he was like 5 minutes from my house. Got him one. But, you know, I got lucky with this bike. Now, that being said, on Facebook, you may buy a piece of shit. It's possible. It's completely doable. And it's not uncommon. But if you take your time, learn a little bit, and pay attention to what you need to look for, you'll be just fine. Now, in terms of buying gear, gear is expensive. Like, you don't have to have $10,000 or $1,000 to buy a set of gear, because there's people out there who buy like the AGV Pistas and the SuperTech R10 is like their first helmet. I mean, are they good helmets? Yes, I believe. I think the R10 actually just had a problem with like the carbon shell splitting down the center. So I guess in that sense, probably not. Especially not for a $900 helmet. Or I think it's 900. It may be 8 or 9. It's somewhere in that range. But either way, for that expensive of a helmet, no, that shouldn't happen. But in the case of, you know, just buying gear, I bought these gloves. These gloves are $60 gloves. I've watched crash tests on them. I've actually had a pair of these gloves that I went down in, and they held up, I mean, enough to where I didn't break my hand or get road rash on my hand. The helmet I wear, it's a Ruroc. It's this, you can't really see, it's dark out. But it's a Ruroc helmet. It's the Atlas 4.0, I think, the newest one, whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I bought it used. I paid $200 for it. But my first helmet, the actual helmet that I crashed on, was an Icon Airform helmet. It was a blue one. And I mean, I hit the ground, I think I was going like 50 or 60. So I mean, I wasn't going like, oh my God, fast. But I hit the ground and I was just fine. I didn't have any whiplash, didn't have anything like that. So it's not really overly like stupid expensive as to buying the gear to get into it. Now, me personally, obviously I don't wear jackets, I don't wear boots, and I don't wear pants. Should I? Probably. But I just personally don't. And I was gonna buy a pair of boots at one point, but I do know that it's a little harder to get like your brake lever and stuff like that, get, you know, feeling with that. So it is a little bit harder. You can do it, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't wear boots, because they're good for you. Wear boots, they'll save your ankles. Wear pants, it'll save road rash from your legs. I've had it, it's not fun. But it's not as expensive as everybody thinks. And also, like I said, if you go out and buy a brand new bike as your first bike, you go spend, even if it's a Ninja 400, and you spend roughly $7 grand out the door. You spend roughly $7 grand out the door. Inevitably, it being your first bike, you're gonna drop that bike. It's gonna happen. Now, it may not be a at speed drop. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's like you're in a parking lot, you forgot to throw your kickstand down, or you know, something stupid. So like you just kind of tip it over. But it's much better to buy, you know, a $2,500 bike, knock it over, it on its side, you pick it up, you dust it off, you go on with life. What is that truck doing? My God. But you pick it up, you dust it off, you're good to go. You never have to worry about it. You know, it may have some cosmetic damage. Most of them do. If they're like this bike, it's 21 years old. It had a little bit of damage whenever I bought it. But I took the fairings off, I painted them. I missed the spot right here, but shh, we don't talk about it. But we took them off, we painted them, cleaned them up, put a new set of mirrors on it, and it's a pretty decent looking bike. So I mean, it all comes down to if you really want to do it. Like, if you have the money and you want to go buy a brand new bike, I'm not going to tell you not to, because it would be nice to be able to. But I'm speaking to people who, what is this? Is that a bus? That is a U-Haul. That U-Haul is broken down. That's not good. But like I said, if you do buy a used bike, go over it a little bit. But having, like I said, this one has almost 51,000 miles on it, and I mean, did my headlight just go away? Well, see guys, that's the problem with new bike or old bikes. But I mean, it's a headlight, we'll figure it out eventually. I actually don't know why my headlight just went out. That kind of sucks. I still have my brights, I guess. Okay guys, we're gonna have to fix the headlight. We'll do that eventually. But I mean, even buying a used bike or whatever, I mean, it's like I said, it's like a headlight. Okay, a headlight takes what, 150 bucks, maybe an hour to do, maybe. So I mean, I can justify spending a little bit of money and doing a little bit of work, because me personally, I like working on my bikes. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of actually riding, is working on my bike. That was a big ass bug. That hurt. But yeah, like, I mean, get custom with your bike, work on it a little bit, do a little bit to it. If you don't have $2,500 to go spend on a bike, find one that's messed up and, you know, take $800, buy it, you know, break it down a little bit, figure out everything, think about why it wouldn't run, watch it. I mean, I spent my first year of having a bike, I probably spent 6 months of it looking at videos of how to do this or how to do that. Just stuff that wasn't even broken, stuff that wasn't even messed up, just to where I knew. So I mean, if you are going to buy a used bike, it's probably, for your first bike, 100% go for a used one. Because like I said previously, not everybody, because my first bike, I actually didn't drop it until I wrecked. That was the first time I ever dropped that bike. But at the same time, it being a used bike, the bike was, like I said, like $1,500. I mean, I was upset about it, because I was like, no, I just dropped my bike, you know, I wrecked, whatever. But me personally, I believe these are built better than the newer ones, because everything new is built to break, and you can't convince me otherwise. But like this bike, for instance, don't do it. But like this bike, for instance, it needs its little bit of work, and it's gonna take, you know, it's gonna take a little bit. But instead of spending, you know, $5,000 on one that was perfect, I spent $2,500 and may have $500 in parts in a year, but I'm riding right now. You know, obviously we're gonna have to get a new headlight, because that decided it just wanted to fuck off, which it may be one of the bulbs. It may not even be a big issue. Ambulance. But yeah, that's just all I wanted to talk about. We're about to get to the dumb part. I got pulled over up here the other day. It's a 55. See, 55 right there. It's a 55. That's the speed limit. And I was cruising at like 60, 61. And I know you can get pulled over for going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. The chances are pretty low, but you can do it. It's pretty dumb. But I was going 61, and the cop pulled me over, and like I got like the worst like stern talking to that I'm gonna like spontaneously combust, and they've had all kinds of wrecks up here over the last 3 days, and I was like, I'm going 5 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour over the speed limit. Like, come on, man. Like, I understand if I was going, you know, 160 or 136. I understand that. That's fully understandable. Yeah, tell me I'm gonna die. But like, I'm going 6 miles an hour over the speed limit. But that's all. We just wanted to talk a little bit about buying new versus used bikes. And like I said, the whole reason I'm getting into even doing this is to get people on bikes a little more, because like I've said many times in the past, there's just not very many of them around me. Like, we see a few here and there, but not as much as what I used to. But guys, that's all for tonight.